Gone wine. I said please stay the night light here with me. Lay me down on the floor. You were silent. Lock the door. I can't believe somehow I went my whole life without your name on my lips, without my heart on the line. Now that I'm in it, I could spend every night without any other place until I die. I think I'm addicted to your hands on my hips. I think it's the first time that I know what I need. And I want you so bad that I'm scared that now I know how good it is if you ever leave. I think I'm addicted to your hands on my hips. I think it's the first time that I know what I need. And I want you so bad, so bad, so bad, so bad. I think I'm addicted to your hands on my hips. I think it's the first time that I know what I need. And I want you so bad that I'm scared that now I know how good it is if you ever leave. I think I'm addicted to your hands on my.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Excited to have you with us right here on the Betting News Network. Welcome to your afternoon BETSPRESSO. That is Mr. Danny Burke sporting the new stash. We love to see it. That is Vsauce. My name is Sweatpants. He's stoked to have you guys here to finish off your Monday, get you ready to rock and roll into the week. Boys, how we doing? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, boys. Very nice week of football. How we doing, Danny? How was your weekend?
Oh, it was adventurous to say the least. Yeah, I went to Jamaica for a bachelor party. You know, now I'm back here with a mustache. SPJ's dishing me out smelling salts. You know, it's always interesting this side for us here in Chicago. So now we got you guys coming here this weekend. I mean, exciting times ahead. What can you say?
I want to know, you said about this earlier, and I just need to ask this question. Was the stash a conscious decision for the bachelor party, or was it something that happened at the party that made you have to? And the smile and the laugh on your face, it makes there's a story here, and we need to know what it is.
No, not necessarily. It's kind of like a tradition. I've gone on definitely more than the average person amount of bachelor parties. So now it's kind of like been a tradition at this point, to where if you're able to grow a mustache, even if you're not, we try to persuade, but like we just get the boys to rally and just do it before we go. So it's kind of like tradition at this point. And for some reason, not as many people did it this time around. So unfortunately, I was kind of the only one really doing it. The bachelor did it a little bit, but he doesn't grow as good of a mustache. So yeah, didn't get as many troops to support me for this trip. But you know, it's fun to stand out a little bit nonetheless.
It is, man. Nice to keep the tradition alive. That's dope.
It's like I went to V's wedding. I'm glad I didn't have to do any like facial hair shavings. I probably would have not showed up if that was the case. But cool, dude. We're looking good. Glad to have you back. Glad you made it back safe.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you. Saw you yesterday, but excited to have you guys with us. And yes, it is my birthday today, chat. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the wishes. Big vibes, big dubs all around. 34, boys. Never felt better. Feels good. Feels good to be an old man. Love it. Yeah, at least I'm not CJ Stroud saying, you know, I was really nice when I was athletic when I was younger, and he's like 23, and he's like thinking of when he was 15. So a little different, but appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much as always. We also got a sub bank too. Big shout out to our dog Penny Pincher, you need to change your name, dude, because you ain't pinching no pennies, dropping subs all over the place. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Yep. December 25th / October 6th, Gerald. Exactly. I'm a lucky guy. I get 2 birthdays every year.
Yeah.
What can go wrong?
SPJ, we're going to need, I know I say this every show now in terms of a first touchdown bet, but we need a birthday first touchdown bet from you because, you know, you got to work a little bit of that magic. Come on.
All right, now when we get to the game,
right now, but yeah,
I'll find one. I'll find one. The plums are moving. I actually have a weird one in my head that I think makes some kind of sense, and I want to get there. But we'll talk about this. I might be sharing a birthday today with someone, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, but when is BN's birthday? That's a wonderful question, fam. I don't know the actual birthday of BN. I joined betting.
Look, yeah, are you guys' first show?
Yeah, I joined BN when I just had my 3-year anniversary the last week of September, so 3 years ago. But BN was in existence for a couple years before that, so I don't know. I'll have to find. Well, I'll ask Hugo this weekend. But thanks for being here, guys. Excited to have you with us. Brought to you by our sponsors at Bet Online. We're going to talk a little bit about this Monday Night Football game tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk about the NLDS as well, or both of those games are rocking and rolling this evening on the Diamond. But before we do that, we're going to jump in and play probably my new favorite game, boys. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Kind of recapping the weekend of the NFL this weekend. But get involved with Bet Online. You can bet everything that we're going to talk about today and so much more with this QR code right next to me with the promo code BNBOL55. We appreciate all you guys. Oh, yeah, this could be interesting. Matty Ice knows the vibes. Also, shout out to someone in our chat yesterday for a Gridiron Gang. Somebody pulled Brock Wright to score a touchdown and put that in our chat. And Brock Wright scored a touchdown yesterday, which was just an insane pull. So shout out whoever you are. I'd love to see it. All right, guys. I'm excited to be with you, boys. Fun times. Big vibes. Someone was asking me earlier if, like, I said this earlier, but I'll say it to you, B, as well. Like, you're working on your birthday? It's like, what the hell? I was like, dude, I love what I do, man. There's no bad days, brother. Not like you can just take the day off because it's your birthday, not around these parts.
Right. You'd be doing the same thing. You'd be handicapping Monday Night Football regarding right? So
I'd be doing it on my couch. Exactly. I get to talk with you guys about it. Before we jump into the vibes, I just want to remind all of you, we're going to be reminding you on every single show this week because basically I planned this out so you guys can just come and celebrate my birthday with me. That's kind of how this is going to work out. But later this week, we have our meetup in Chicago. If you live in the Chicago area, if you want to get on a flight, if you got a bunch of money like our dog Penny Pincher, come and hang out with us in Chicago, October the 11th, this weekend, Saturday. Come and kick it. Free vibes, free drinks. We'll be giving away some swag, hanging out with all of us. The three of us will be there. Most of the entire BN crew will be there in attendance. A lot of the goats from last year will be stopping by from Chicago as well. We have a good time watching some college football, apparently, and the popcorn chicken slaps too from last year. There'll be free food as well. Come and kick it with us and hang out to kick off your Saturday later this week. Oh, also our friends at Bet Online will be giving away 2 bottles of Casa Dragones tequila as well. So be sure to come and kick it with us on Saturday. Danny's literally getting like 7,000 million things shipped to his house because he's in the Chicago area, and he's going to have all of the swag for us this weekend.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, we're going to have shirts. We're going to have hats. We're going to have stickers. We're going to have beanies. I did get a message that the beanies might not make it in time, which is really unfortunate, but we should have everything else. So
we're going to have no more. We're going to have none of that.
I'm buying the first thing I'm doing when I see you, Houseman, is buying
it ended my night last year. I will say that it ended my night. That was it.
Well, we're gonna start and end your night with it. So
Danny knows the vibes. Welcome to the party, buddy. It's at the Country Club in downtown Wrigleyville in Chicago. Country Club is the place. We've already posted about it on socials. We'll post about it all week long. So we'll have some more info for you. Like I said, it's free. You don't have to pay a cent to come and hang out with us. It's going to be rocking and rolling down in Wrigleyville. This weekend, as well as the Cubs will be playing, hopefully still at that point. The Chicago Marathon will be happening that weekend too. So it's going to be big vibes. So I would love to have you guys stop by and hang out with us. All right, enough housekeeping. Let's get to it. Let's play the good, the bad, and the ugly. Crazy weekend, boys.
More sub banks from Penny Pincher. Holy shit! Sorry to interrupt you, but Penny Pincher
is Penny just dropping them in the chat? My guy, let's go.
I hope you had a good weekend.
I'm telling you, dude, he needs to change his name to Benjamin Pincher. He ain't Penny Pincher. Benji Pension. Yeah, sub banger. Here you go. Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. At
the meetup. Awesome.
Bet you never thought you were going to say that out loud, did you? Nick Dingling's going to be there. Holy. All right. Let's go. We'd love to have all you guys, man. We got a lot of people coming in. Yeah, tab on me, man. Tab's on us. So come and hang out with us. This guy's going to be in the house. Austin's going to be in the house from Chicago or from
Los Angeles,
from California. Yeah, flying across the country. Love to see it. Love to see it. Okay. So crazy day, boys, in the NFL yesterday. Like just absolute insanity. And as this game goes, chat, tell us who you guys think was good, who you think was bad, and who you think was just downright ugly. Now, we normally do it where we kind of go person by person and give the opportunities, but I think we can all agree that we can all just put the ugly and just say it's the Arizona Cardinals. Everybody can say Arizona. That's your ugly for the week. There are some other honorary mentions I think that we'll all do. But Danny, I know you said that was kind of the one that you were going to talk about. One of mine. I'm sure V, that was one of yours too. And chat, I'm sure that was one of yours as well.
12 minutes left. You break a 76-yard touchdown, and then everything flips. Not like there's some things that you can do on the football field that not only will change the outcome of the game, but just change your fate as and how you are looked at, like from the basketball gods. Because the way they scored the first touchdown was not. No, that's something like the football gods came down to teach Arizona a fucking lesson yesterday. My God, boys.
I was saying it this morning on Any Given Wager, V. I was like, that may be the ugliest game I have ever seen. And someone in chat did bring up another good example when the Colts blew the 30-point lead or whatever against the Vikings. And everybody was luckily who had them in Survivor got to advance because it was the oh my goodness, Jeff Saturday coached Indianapolis Colts team. That's who it was when he took over. It's just an absolute nightmare of an organization. That was awful. That was beyond awful. It's like 1A, 1B probably. But yeah, I mean, to drop the football at the goal line, to allow that interception to somehow get scored. And I only saw like parts of the game because I was in the airport flying. I saw those two parts, but I didn't see like Kyler Murray get the ball snapped into his face mask until later. It's just, again, we're all going to say, I don't know. SPJ's over here. At least he's somewhat happy about it. But yeah, it made it worse for me, V, too, because I have 3 Survivor entries in this one contest. Like a bozo I am, took the Rams and then took the Cardinals. I was like, I know they're going to be the 2 most picked teams, but this is a great time to take at least the Cardinals. So I was like, I'll be a Joe here and take the Arizona Cardinals. But like, there was no other situation in which I wanted to use them. It was just more so everybody blindly fading your Titans, SPJ. Just brutal.
Don't
brutal
feel bad, Danny. Yeah, this is like I have 2 of my 3 entries were fried by the Packers in back-to-back weeks, and it wasn't like I picked them in the same week. It's like 2 weeks. They broke my heart twice. So yeah, that was ugly. I did have, but like I will say this: it's good you have 1 entry left because this week was horrendous for Survivor.
True.
Cardinals, one of the top teams, went down. Then you had the Lions. And then the Bills on Sunday night, boys. 3 of the top 5 pick teams, 3 of the top 5 spreads on the board. Straight upsets. Straight the fuck up.
I don't think the Lions won. I think you're thinking.
Sorry, no, not the Lions. Who's the third team? It was the
Rams were a big one. The Bills, Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah. Rams, Bills, Cardinals. Sorry, those 3, not the Lions.
Yeah.
But 3 of the top 5. That's crazy.
I think we all can agree that this was a terrible performance in the second half by this team. They kept leaving the door open for Meemaw in the back door, and she came bursting through, rolling through, 100 years old, getting in there. But I mean, DeMarcado, I don't know if he's gonna have a job today. Gannon's also maybe a little bit on the hot seat, kind of, because that team.
Funny enough, SP. Sorry to interrupt. Because we were talking about Callahan the other week, and I said, I just rewrote that article, and I did that article again the second time. I was like, if you really want a long shot, Jonathan Gannon, I think he was at like 200-1. It was after the Thursday night football game when I was kind of steamed about him, so I wrote it. I was like, here's the thing though, he's probably not going to get canned until the offseason. I threw his name out there. I'm like, we may not even make it to week 7 before this guy's gone. But that was, he was at like 200-1 last week.
I mean, just to see how those odds shift after this week finishes.
Yeah, maybe it was intuitive. I'll have to look it up, but it's going to be a fascinating market now.
You could just see. I mean, they had some things in that game that just don't normally happen ever in a football game, like ever. And like 5 of them happened like in about a 20-minute stretch, which was just insane. I had totally forgotten about the fumble where Kyler got the ball. It was so funny too, because Kyler got the ball snapped against his face mask. They dropped it. The Titans recovered it. And then he went into the medical tent. So everyone was joking that the ball gave him a concussion because,
right.
But it was something with his foot and he was fine. But
getting that Lockett notification was crazy too. I like, because I wasn't watching the game, trying to make sense of that notification. Tyler Lockett scores an interception scores a touchdown on an interception return. What?
Just a wacky play. I will, again, and I said this earlier, and then we can move on and talk about some goods and bads. But that dart that Cam Ward, that dot that he threw at the end of that game, because again, the Cardinals just pissed this game away. There's no way around it. And as a Titans fan, I know that. Like they gave us just enough rope to save us. But at the end of that game, Cam Ward made it happen, and they looked awesome. Finally got a win. Jesus Christ. But
Ridley made the catch. Ridley
big dog, baby. Big dog. He was sitting on my fantasy bench just staring at me saying,
Leave
hey,
him
bro.
there. Maybe he'll keep performing.
Yeah, that's fine for me. That's totally fine. But we all can agree the Cardinals, ugly. Does anyone have any honorable mentions for a couple more uglies before we get to the goods and the bads?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Ravens.
Yes.
The Ravens. I was gonna say bad, but they're kind of ugly. They're pretty ugly. They just looked really, really bad. They have no offense on that side of the ball. The defense is even worse. They're missing so many starters now. Just that's all I got to say about them.
Yeah, certainly there. I didn't get to watch too much of that game, but I guess that wasn't the first one to come to my mind, just in the sense of because of the injury with, Lamar Jackson and company. It's still ugly regardless. But the other two, I could probably do more than two, but obviously the Rams facing on a short week as a favorite here, a banged up 49ers team. I get it's a division game and it is a short week and it's not really that big a travel for the 49ers, but that's still an inexcusable loss in the first place. And then again, like I was like in and out of watching the game and didn't realize what was happening at the end. We were trying to stream out all these things, but Kyron Williams fumbling on the 1 yard line, and he had an outstanding game too. And I mean, my goodness, that was just so ugly all around. Shouldn't have came down to that point. And then the other one I would say was going to be the Chargers. I think you could say ugly. SPJ, I know we talked about this a little bit, but I say it because of like the sequence of Quentin Johnson fumbling the ball heading into the red zone. Could have been 17-0. And then it ends up being 10-7 because you allowed him to convert a 3rd and 16 right after that. You could have held him and stopped the momentum. Furthermore, then you had Lad McConkey return a punt, one of the coolest punt returns we've seen quite some time. The dude left over the kicker penalties, and it just got worse and worse. And I know they had goal line fiascos, and yeah, it's just absolutely ugly football from the Chargers after a game where they lost as 6.5-point favorites. So I think the Chargers deserve to be called ugly this week.
Yeah, Jake Browning, another good pick here. Yeah, Jake Browning.
That's evergreen with Jake Browning in the ugly category.
Oh my God, we had Jamar's our last leg last week, SPJ, and then this week 2 touchdowns. Of course,
no,
right?
it went bananas, and it didn't even matter. They kind of tried to get back into that game, but it was already cooked by then. Yeah, it just was salt in the wound. I had Arizona and Baltimore as my 2 uglies. The Chargers were in my bad category, but I had Cincinnati / Jake Browning in a bad category too, just because. A lot of these teams we're talking about in these particular categories are dealing with a lot of injuries, but that's part of football. Mm-hmm. Like the 49ers got the job done on Thursday night and they're banged up too. So it's like, this is just part of the deal. We're in this 5 weeks into the season. Everybody's got some sort of injury, even though there's a lot more catastrophic ones this season, but you just got to find a way to win. And, God, some of these teams, man, just looked absolutely atrocious.
Yeah. How about the Jets too? They could easily be in that category. They might just be bad, so that's why we just save them there instead. But
just haven't won a game. But it's crazy because their offense still looks fun and frisky in certain situations, but like that defense is just not good, man.
They don't do anything until the second half of the game. Like they have to be down 3 touchdowns for them to actually start playing the game. I don't know why that is. As someone that bet Garrett Wilson this week, I don't know why it always happens in the fourth quarter, but that's back-to-back weeks that he's had fourth quarter miracles to cash all his bettors. But at some point, the offense has to get better. I understand Aaron Glenn wants to run the ball, but if it's not working, I understand. I don't know what it is. That first half, though, looks completely different than what they do in the second half.
I think it's, and I think it's they're having some defensive issues, and that's shocking for a team that has been bad over the last 3 or 4 years, but has always had a pretty staunch, good defense. And they're kind of letting it up right now. So they need to sort that side of the football out, which is surprising with Aaron Glenn, with all of his defensive background, that's the part of the team that's suffering a little bit. I mean, their offense isn't good.
Sauce getting lost. Not really, but Sauce get beat in the end zone there by Pickens. That was filthy. My God.
That was nasty. Never want to see your $100 million corner getting toasted like that. That's never a good look.
Pickens is having a year, though. Fucking crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. And I mean, just like, to call a spade, I mean, Justin Fields obviously is just not fit to be a starting quarterback in this league. I mean, yes, he can give you highlight worthy plays. We know what he can do with his feet. We were sweating that out last week. It was great, but he's not a pocket passer, and it just gets put on display week after week after week. And what is he now? 0-27 when opposing teams score 21 or more points, whatever that insane stat is. The
I saw
defense
that, yeah.
isn't helping him, sure, but yeah, someone commented in the chat like he's 4.5 yards per pass. Like he's getting no distance on his throws. And they're that's what defenses do. You can make these short little passes if you're Fields. We have to just contain you on your feet. And we know you're not going to beat us deep with your throw. So we'll let you have these little 5 and outs, and that's that. I mean, they got nothing else to him with him as quarterback.
Yeah.
Go.
I was just gonna say, just to like flip that and go to a good team, a team that's not just completing 4.5 yards per pass, and a team that has a quarterback that's just an absolute stud. The fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like,
Yeah,
my
man.
God, Baker Mayfield, no Mike Evans. Your defense is decimated. Your offensive line is decimated. Chris Godwin is nowhere to be found. So what do? You take Emeka Egbuka and you make him look like fucking Randy Moss. Oh my God. Play after play, he's open. I don't even understand what the fuck was going on, boys. It was insane. And then at the fucking end, at the very fucking end, what does Sam Darnold do? He throws an interception, and Darnold is going to fucking Darnold. And that's why, as good as Darnold has been all year, as good as he has been all year, there's the Bakers of the world, and then there's the Sam Darnolds of the world. My God, that game was an absolute classic. And I was a guy who had a pretty big parlay hinging on Seattle, and I couldn't even sit there and be mad. I was obviously steaming, but I was like, this game was just fucking insane.
It was incredible. And I mean, the crazy thing is yeah, Sam Darnold's going to get remembered for that interception, but he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was so good in that game. Baker was just that tiny bit better. And I mean, 4-1, I'm starting to see some rumblings that, Baker Mayfield MVP tickets might be should be in the slips possibly.
I mean, their one loss is to an Eagles team that didn't complete a pass in the second half. The pass rush is getting there. The secondary looks fantastic. The rookie they just drafted that's playing in their secondary has looked fucking amazing. I can't remember his name right now. I don't know, man. Jamel Dean is healthy. He's a top 5 cornerback, and he's playing at a top 5 level right now. Shit, man. The Buccaneers hype might be for real, and I'm scared of Baker, man. Baker's fucked.
I think it's more that. So again, I've been on the train of that the Buccaneers are one of the luckiest teams in the NFL, and I'm not here to say, it's necessarily they got that much luckier holding on. But if you travel to the Pacific Northwest all the way from the Southeast, right, and you're giving up 35 points and you still win, that might be pretty damn lucky. I don't know. But Baker is worthy of the MVP conversation because the fact that they keep winning these games somehow because of his will, his grit, his determination is just outstanding. And I love him. And it's like, I hate that I have this narrative applied to the Bucs because he's so fun to root for, and I do want to root for him, but I just still am refusing to let myself buy into this team, at least long term, because I don't think this is sustainable via an SPJ. Like, I really don't. At some point, it's going to come back to haunt you. And yes, you're going to get healthier, so maybe they can still get by. But I'm just waiting for it to implode. And maybe Baker's good enough to overcome that. And that's why he's worthy of being one of the top players in discussion here. But yeah, Ibuka emerging immediately. I mean, outstanding. It's remarkable. But yeah, at what point does Tampa Bay get on the wrong end of one of these? And yes, I get it, what happened with the Eagles and everything there. But even still, like, man, I mean, the Eagles had control of that game until they didn't. And yeah, I don't know. I got to see this Bucs schedule going forward. But it's insane, man.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy thing is they did this without Mike Evans the last couple of weeks.
Right.
And like Buckham filling that void this week was incredible, which was very necessary. But, you get Mike Evans back, like, that's even scarier. I mean, they didn't even have Bucky Irving yesterday. Rashad White was their lead back. And, Rashad White was their lead back 2 seasons ago before Bucky Irving emerged. So, like, they got depth on this team. It was a great game. JSN also went crazy on the other side. Of course, I didn't bet him this week. Should have. Didn't, like a bozo. But great game. Wonderful game. I have one, and then I'll let Danny close this out for a good. I hate to have to say this, but I think the Indianapolis Colts might be legit, boys. This team dog walked the Raiders. They dog walked them. They weren't even close to being, and I mean, the Raiders are not very good, so maybe there's that, but like, they look very dominant. Their offensive line is one of the best in football. I was really hesitant of this team this season just because of the quarterback play of what we were going to get from either Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson. And Daniel Jones looks like an MVP candidate too. Like, he's not like a game changer, right? But when you put him in a serviceable offense, and Shane Steichen is a very good offensive game planner, I guess. Is he their offensive coordinator? Is he also their offensive coordinator and their head coach?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think he calls the plays, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you can see how successful this team is with just they're humming right now. Jonathan Taylor's running like the best running back in football, 3 touchdowns yesterday. The Raiders were never even in this game. They might as well have just not shown up. So got to say it. The Colts are great. They're one of the better teams in the AFC right now too, especially with all the injuries going around. This team could flirt with being one of the top teams in the AFC by the time we get to the end of the season. It's only 5 weeks, but as much as I hate pain to say it, this team looks really, really good. Yeah,
they do. They do. I know.
Yeah.
It's like last year, I was like, they finally earned my respect, and now it's like, all right, you're slowly going up to the officially good category for me. But again, grain of salt, it is the Raiders, but still putting up 40 and only allowing 6 has to get you some kind of recognition, regardless of who the team is. So, yeah, I mean, in Steichen Coach of the Year, it's right there if they can at least keep on this trajectory somehow. And I'm sure he's the odds-on favorite. I haven't looked, but I would imagine he has to be. Much like Abuka's probably like front runner for offensive rookie of the year as well, I would imagine too. Yeah, so
especially
I
after
think
last week.
The Danny Dimes for MVP hype, man, is starting to come back around. Last week was a tough week for the boy, but I mean, the touchdowns he put up this week, he had a nice one to Pittman, a nice one to Warren. He handles himself under pressure. He got Max Crosby on the opposite side. And I mean, the Colts are going to do one thing, and that's protect their quarterback. We know that. Like, as a franchise, it's something that they very much value. You put Danny Dimes behind a serviceable offensive line, and he's looked absolutely fantastic. I'm so here for this SPG. I know it's been tough to say, but the Colts are good.
I just want to look at the odds on the because just to kind of Danny, I'll let you say you're good too. What's your good team? I just want to look at the odds for the MVP race since Josh Allen and the Bills lost last night.
Yeah, I mean, the good, like, there isn't really anything that was that good that we haven't already talked about. I mean, the Patriots are the obvious option, right? Like, to say that they went on the road, beat a division opponent 23-20, that's good. I was trying to be a little bit more unique and try to switch it up, but I mean, the Cowboys beating the Jets, do we want to say the Cowboys were good? Yeah, sure, it's good. You beat them, but the Jets aren't anything special. So we really want to make this award feel a bit worthy. So I guess with that being said, it has to be the Patriots. The fact that Drake May had some big-time plays, big throws, Patriots defense stepped up when they needed to, if that can continue to be their identity, then, yeah, they're going to be in a good position to get over their win total, which soared up to like 8.5 before the year. And I get why. I mean, the talent that they have, although there isn't necessarily a superstar, they have a collectively competent group. And assuming Vrabel was going to give them that bump, and they had an easy schedule, it was just that the market kind of just went crazy with them, and you weren't getting value with them toward kickoff in terms of week 1. And now you're seeing that play out. So if you were able to get on that win total early, you're 3-2 with a win you probably did not expect to get against Buffalo. You are feeling mighty fine. And I know Adam this morning, as a Patriots fan, was saying, Patriots playoff team, I don't know if I'm ready to go that far per se, but hey, that's a win that gets you in the right direction. And they're certainly now look like they should be on everybody's radar as a legit threat in any matchup going forward. Does it mean they're going to win it? No, but it means they can be competitive against any group.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I love what we've seen from Drake May so far. I've been talking about it since last year. I think his arm is great. I think he's got a great deep ball. He sees his receivers and he moves those progressions very well. I think you give him a wide receiver 1 like Stephon Diggs, and we're kind of seeing that now play into effect over the last 2 weeks. His target share is up significantly, but he's also putting up a shit ton of yards, moving the sticks. And the Patriots have looked good in back-to-back weeks now, back-to-back wins. They're putting up yards, putting up points. And like Danny said, this is a divisional matchup on the road. You're going to get this Bills team once again, this time at home at Foxborough. I mean, it feels kind of good. And this is the same kind of thing we saw with a Josh Allen. Not to compare the two quarterbacks, but you give Josh Allen a Stephon Diggs, it really unlocked something in him. Now you're giving that same guy thing to Drake May, a guy who's also mobile, big arm, kind of maybe accuracy issues, if you want to say that, but I wouldn't say so early on in his career. I like what I'm seeing so far from the Pats. And like you said, SPJ last night, this is what Vrabel does.
I've watched it for years. This is exactly what Mike Vrabel does to a franchise and to a team. He will bring you into battle, and you are not going to get it. As long as the players are good enough to play on an NFL football field, you're going to have a competitive football team. That one throw that Drake May made at the end of that game, where not the one on the drive to set up the field goal, that was incredible. Where he was pushing the guy to the ground and like threw it, kind of like Baker did that one time. But there was that other throw where he was scrambling out and he had to like dodge a guy, and then Diggs like got free to the sideline, and I mean,
right over the top,
right on him, right on the sideline. Like, that was a nasty throw too. May looks legit, and to do it on the national stage like that too, like they were good. And I mean, the Bills were not great, so I think there's that aspect of it, and we don't have time to go super deep into that. But I'm just looking at the MVP odds before we kind of tap this off, and we can move on and talk about the game tonight. Baker's 1,100, 11-1 right now as the MVP. The odds I'm looking at right now. You're back. Welcome back.
My AirPods died on me naturally, so I was trying to get everything else fixed up here. But
it's okay. You're all good. You sound good too. I'll read off the top 6 guys right now. All quarterbacks for the MVP. Allen plus 135. I would not take that bet. Patrick Mahomes plus 470. Interesting. We'll talk about Mahomes in a bit. Jordan Love plus 950. Baker plus 1,100. Jared Goff plus 1,400. Matthew Stafford plus 1,400. Herbert's plus 2,000, which got a ticket in my pocket that's got terrible CLV now. But yeah, some value, I think. I don't think you take Allen. If you had to take one of those guys up the top 6, no sauce. I'll go to you first, Danny, because I know what V's going to say. Who would you take of those top 6?
I'll tell you who I wouldn't take, and it's Jordan Love is someone I wouldn't take. No offense.
Violence for no reason.
I mean, look, you can't end in a tie against this Matt Eberflus-led defense and then lose on the road against Cleveland. I know you know that, but
who's the last MVP that won with a tie on his record? It ain't happening.
Right. I mean, how would it not be Baker at 11-1? Like, if we're talking about an award for the Lions, I know I talked about Shane Steichen, Coach of the Year, but Dan Campbell's going to be right up there for Coach of the Year as well if they get on this cruising path that it appears they're on, and they take full control of the NFC North, losing both coordinators, while opponent in your division gets Ben Johnson, your former coordinator. Another opponent gets Micah Parsons, and you can still get a just absolutely amazing season under your belt. I think that's where more of the focus would be than anything with Jared Goff MVP. So Baker Mayfield at 11-1 makes a lot of sense. Mahomes and the Chiefs are still going to be Mahomes and the Chiefs, where, they'll win, but it's not going to be prolific numbers that are MVP worthy with Mahomes at this stage. At least that's how I view it. And Josh Allen, there's just no value there at plus 135, especially after a loss. So let's see how they respond. But it's kind of just shocking. I mean, numbers wise, 11-1, double digits with Baker Mayfield. They get another win next week because I think, what are they on the road against Detroit? To where if you do assume they lose, you may get a better price. But if somehow they win, they sure as hell is going to be 11-1 after that.
No. See, like that's the thing. I think the value with Baker at 11-1, the Lions up on the docket. I think that's probably why you're getting this value on him. But a guy like Patrick Mahomes, yes, then they're probably going to win games. But I don't know. I know that everybody's hyped. They've won back-to-back games, but let's not forget who they just won against. It was the New York Football Giants with Russell Wilson still under center. Right. All right, not even the Jackson Dart-led New York Giants. And then on top of that, we've got a Baltimore Ravens defense that it was already ranked 32nd in the league before they suffered all the injuries against the Chiefs. I think that tonight's game, when we get to that, is going to be a little bit more interesting. Now they're going to have a little bit more of a test with this tough Jaguars secondary. Mm-hmm. But I see absolutely no value on Mahomes at plus 440, especially after the 2 losses early on in the season.
It's just based on his name, right? That's the only reason it's there where it is. I mean,
the narrative around Baker, at the end of the year, the narrative does a lot, and that the story gets going. This year, though, it's wide open with Lamar not even just out, but the Ravens not being that good. It really feels like the field's wide open for everybody.
Last point on some futures, and then we'll jump into talk baseball before we jump into Monday Night Football. Dan Campbell plus 1,000 to win Coach of the Year. Shane Steichen is the favorite. However, plus 250. So you're getting still pretty decent value on that if you think the Colts are going to keep rolling. Right behind Dan Campbell, though, Mike Vrabel, plus 1,000. If you think the Patriots can make some even more noise, as Adam was saying earlier, maybe the Bills I think that Bills defense is a problem. Well, we don't have time to go super deep into that, but maybe the Patriots surprise and they kind of leapfrog them in the AFC East. Their schedule over the next 6 or 7 games is very advantageous. They do not have any tough games. So yeah, interesting sprinkles there. If you guys want to, Kyle Shanahan plus 650, Liam Cohen plus 600. No,
I mean, think about like division wise too. I think Dan Campbell's got more of a case than Shanahan and Cohen, especially with long term. If we're assuming who's going to end up with a better record, and again, the NFC North being tougher than the AFC South, I think Campbell would be the obvious play there. And then, Steichen is the favorite. Makes a lot, like you said. I mean, getting plus 250 might not be ideal to have held up for months, but I would take a stab with Steichen and then just your little security blanket with more value on Dan Campbell. If you told me you're betting Vrabel, I'd say, I get it, but I think it's a little bit of an abrupt overreaction in a division where they could absolutely still struggle toward the latter half of this season. So I wouldn't be as eager to get with Vrabel.
I think this is one where overperforming really matters too. So a guy like Vrabel or a guy like Steichen might see a little bit of an advantage over a guy like Campbell, where you're expected to have 13 wins this year. You know what I mean? That's the expectation. So you did your job. Whereas somebody that's projected for 6.5 wins this year, you get that team to 11 to 12 wins, you're looking really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Also, as I'm looking at this now, I've gone down a rabbit hole. Daniel Jones plus 500 to win comeback player of the year.
I was thinking that too. I know it's but any of the guys who are coming off injuries haven't been stellar, right? Like Christian McCaffrey was the big one. Who are some of the other guys we were talking about preseason?
Prescott's the favorite right now, plus 230. McCaffrey's also plus 230. Aiden Hutchinson plus 250, and then Daniel Jones. And then it goes to T-Law, Darren Waller. Darren Waller's on the list already.
Darren Waller. Can you imagine Waller just continues to go off?
3 touchdowns, man. That's crazy.
That's
He had 18 snaps in the first game. 18 snaps, 2 touchdowns.
Craziness. Anyway, interesting futures market right now. This is the time to kind of maybe throw a couple cups of coffee on some stuff that you guys might like, because the value can change very quickly as we get into some performances. I mean, put up $5 on it, Tukey. That's the way to do it, or 10 or 20, however you bet. All right, we're not going to spend too much time on this because, as you guys know, we're not all – well, Danny is a little bit more than me and V, but not all super tapped in with the baseball. Go check out Colby's scribbles for both games tonight in the NLDS. We got game 2s between the Phillies and the Dodgers. The Phillies looking to jump back into this series against the Dodgers. And then the later game is your Cubs taking on the Milwaukee Brewers in Milwaukee. Danny, what do you think about both of these games? You got anything you're kind of looking at here in either one of these spots?
Yeah, so I haven't necessarily bet it officially myself. I know the Phillies-Dodgers just getting underway right now, but I would have leaned toward the Phillies to bounce back here. I mean, them blowing the lead that they did in game 1 at home is obviously devastating, and now you're going to find out the true mark of this team. And for me, Philadelphia was my team to come out of the National League since before the year even began, took them to win the division. And this is who you got to get by at one point or another in order to get there. And it's never going to be easy. As much up and downs as this Dodgers team endured throughout the regular season, you know that it's a completely different atmosphere with this group once they get into the playoffs. But I think that with Luzardo on the bump, as good as he's been, especially at home with the crowd behind him, I think the Phillies are the side that I would have taken in that game. We'll see if any live in-game opportunities present itself, but I do like them there. And even though you can see behind me, I got all the Cubs gear here, my childhood bedroom, Cubs everywhere. But, man, it's just I think the Cubs, in what I've kind of been saying with them for a while, at first, I think I couldn't remember if I said that it was winning a playoff series or making it to the playoffs. But regardless, one of those was like their version of a World Series, especially after they didn't get any big name acquisitions near the deadline. And the arm they did get immediately got injured. And when Steele went down at the beginning of the year, you're kind of screwed. I mean, that's your ace going down. So it's like in the back of my mind, as excited as everybody was about this team, you knew you were going to be without Steele, your ace, which sucked. And then you knew PCA was going to come back down to earth. You didn't think Tucker was going to come back down as much as he did. But if those guys can't hit, you have no chance against this Brewers team that is just so eager to not be your little brother anymore, right? Just because it's always that not Miller Park anymore, but all the Cubs fans going up there to Milwaukee and just overcrowding the place because the Brewers can't get their own fans there. But they've been ready this season, and they have a lethal starting rotation. And if they get out to an early lead, I can't see the Cubs coming back from that. So I get why the market's moving toward the Brewers. As much as I hate to say it, I do think Milwaukee's the right side again tonight.
Ashby on the bump for the Brewers, Imanaga on the bump for the Cubs, and that game is at 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. The other Phillies and Dodgers starts at 5. Actually, right now. The game starts literally right now. So if you're going to watch the NLDS, enjoy the baseball tonight. Danny gave you a little bit of some information if you want to stop and get involved with some action there. But let's finish off the show, boys, and let's talk all about this football game. Monday Night Football, last game on the docket for Week 5. And it should be a good one. 2 AFC teams. We were kind of talking about them a little bit before with the MVP odds and different things like that. But I'll just bring up the odds of what we're looking at for this game right now. The Chiefs favorites on the road after that really big performance, what we saw from them last week against the Ravens. Jacksonville plus 3.5, even though they were really good in San Francisco grabbing the win on the road in their last performance at home here. Over-under set at 45.5. Interesting that the total has dropped a little bit, a couple of points. Xavier Worthy was questionable going into this game. It's seeming like from everything we've been seeing all day that he is going to play today. Vsauce, I know you wrote about this game at Betting News. So what is the vibes you're kind of looking at in South Florida tonight?
Honestly, man, this feels like a defensive battle. 2 of these teams are both have a lot of weapons on the offensive side. Looking at Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas Jr., guys that are both athletic and speedy. But on the defensive side, both teams are top 5 in points allowed, top 5 in other categories like first downs allowed, third down percentage allowed, red zone efficiency allowed. These kinds of stats really matter when putting up points. It's also why we're seeing a total sitting at 44.5, 45.5. It's been kind of fluctuating back and forth. I think this is going to be a good game, though, however. I think both defenses are really good, but this is a primetime game. Both teams are coming in looking for a win. Kansas City looking to string together their 3rd win in a row, and Jacksonville looking to go 4-1 for the first time in probably their franchise's history. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But you know what I mean when Jacksonville hasn't been this good. And they've been doing this in spite of how Trevor Lawrence has played. He's got 5 touchdowns this year, 4 interceptions. He has not been good, completing just 54% of his passes. And he's got 2 absolute weapons. Brenton Strange has even taken a huge step forward this year. He's the team, in his rookie year. This is a guy who is now leading the team in receiving yards. And is this team's leading receiver. A lot of that has to do with the fact that they can't get Brian Thomas Jr. the ball. I don't know, boys. This feels like a fun one to me, despite what all the stats are kind of pointing at. What are you guys seeing?
Yeah, I guess the way that I was looking at this one, V, and I agree, I do think it is going to be a back and forth battle. And it's not even it seems like an easy thing to say just because the spread's at 3.5, but a lot of times we kind of get these duds on prime time. And, when you have as lopsided as a quarterback matchup as we think we do based on the eye test and statistically speaking, sometimes it could play a lot deeper than that. And that should lead a lot of people toward backing Kansas City. And I completely get that. But, I have my reservations for doing so because you have a Kansas City team that is always playing closer in games than they should. Now, barring the last 2 weeks, that has been the case. But you brought up a good point, V. I mean, that game against the Giants was for whatever reason, was a big spot for Kansas City because they hadn't won up to that point, right? They needed that game. And yeah, you won, you covered. But if you were really watching that game snap by snap, nothing was pretty for them and nothing was really coming easy. Now, the game that SPJ went to at Arrowhead, I think it has a lot more to do with him than anything the Chiefs did because SPJ just brings the good luck. But Kansas City finally looked like a competent football team. That we can attribute to them taking a step forward. With that being said, though, I mean, again, that was backs against the wall. You can't lose to the Ravens and the Eagles at home because then you're pretty much taking yourself out of a legit Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. And this Ravens defense, we now know may be one of the worst in the National Football League too. So I think you're going to see a Jaguars team that is able to keep up with them, especially on the ground attack, because 32nd is what the Chiefs rank in rush EPA per play allowed, 31st in rush success rate allowed. If ETN can keep doing what he's been doing, which is 6 yards per carry, I don't think it'll be that great tonight. Kansas City's allowing about 5. If they can keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, you just keep winding down the clock here and punishing them throughout the trenches with ETN, there's no reason that the Jaguars can't win this game outright. The big question mark with them is their defense is good? Is their second place rating in EPA per play allowed and second in success rate allowed? Or are they the beneficiary of playing crap offenses? I think it could be a combination of both. It's probably more so the latter. But at the same time with this Kansas City offense, they haven't been that dominant until the Ravens game. And again, the Ravens defense not that great. So if I had to pick a side, long-winded, I would take the points over the key number of 3 with Jacksonville. If it's at a flat 3, I'd stay away and wait for an in-game number. That's how I would approach this side tonight.
That's a great point you bring up about Etienne, because the other thing with him too is he has really thrived in zone runs this year. This is a team that has ranks in the top 5 in both pass blocking and run blocking, and a lot of it has to do with because of how they're able to block in these zone running schemes. This is also a place where Kansas City has really kind of struggled. Not only are they giving 5 yards per carry, but against the zone run schemes, they rank in the bottom 5 of yards allowed and in the bottom 3 of big plays, explosive run plays allowed from that concept. This is something that Etienne is running at a 6.6 yards per carry average. I think he could really thrive against a front 7 that we saw early on with Kenny Clark that was very adamant and very frustrated after that Eagles game. And he's like, it's not because of the tush push. It's because they're running the same fucking run play again and again, and we're unable to stop it, right? And I don't think that's really kind of changed. I just think that, like you said last week, the Ravens were not the same Ravens team. They had no pass rush, and it's why Patrick Mahomes was kind of just doing whatever he wanted in the pocket. He was finding his receivers. And I know somebody you like a lot, SPJ. I'll let you talk about him before I get into it, but Xavier Worthy. He had a big game last week, coming back from injury.
Yeah, we're both on Xavier. I talked about it a little earlier, but just before we move past this ETN love, I'm actually on ETN today. I like his 75.5 rushing and receiving yards line. You can take the rushing yards if you want to. I did get 75.5. This rushing and receiving yards line has kind of jumped up a few spots. I don't think it really matters. Kind of like what you guys have been speaking about with ETN in this offense. Like, I think especially at home, I don't think they want to get in a shootout with the Chiefs. Like, that is probably not this recipe for success in this situation. So they would rather control the tempo, put Trevor Lawrence in advantageous situations. And how do you do that? Successfully run the football. And I think that they're going to do that with ETN. I like Tootin. Obviously, he's going to come in and spell him for certain stretches, but it seems like that Travis Etienne is the guy in Jacksonville. He's getting like almost 70% of the snap share right now. So I think that this is an opportunity for him to continue to kind of take advantage of this Chiefs defense. / Liam Cohen is probably going to want to lean into the fact of, like, I do not want Trevor Lawrence to have to go and win me this game with his arm for most of this game. So
see, that point I think is also slept on too. Liam Cohen comes in, and yes, I know he is a passing game wizard. Everybody wants to talk about Baker Mayfield and the years he had over there. But look at this run game. They rank 4th in rush yards per game. They are putting the ball in the end zone on the ground. That's exactly what they've done. They are 3-1, despite the 17th ranked best pass game, despite Trevor Lawrence throwing 4 interceptions already. They have 13 takeaways as a team too. That's another huge thing. 9 interceptions have come from this secondary. I think Etienne and I think what Cohen has brought to this run game is kind of being undervalued. We saw what he did in Tampa as well. It wasn't just one running back, and not even just Tampa. You want to go back further. Look at his days with the Los Angeles Rams on the sidelines with Sean McVay. He always had running backs in that system that could not only fill in, but give you big chunk plays. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Etienne.
Well, the Liam Cohen's offensive structure and system is kind of what the sexy, popular offense right now is in the NFL, because the spread offense has kind of gone away now. We've gotten back to the point of defenses we're just cover 2-ing the hell out of it, and there wasn't anything to take advantage of it. So now what I think is kind of becoming back to becoming quote unquote successful and sexy in the NFL again is the play action pass. And if you really look at what the Buccaneers did last year and what Liam Cohen does really well, and the reason why Baker was so successful was because a lot of those dropbacks were either, even from the gun, they were play action, but they were either just 5-step drops with a play action wrinkle thrown in, and then they were able to take advantage of the offense that way. But that requires you to be successful running the football, because if you're just doing play action to do play action, then the defense is eventually just going to say, okay, fine, whatever. But like, you have to run the ball to set up the pass, and that's what that he has brought into Jacksonville, which they haven't had in years past since, I don't know, Mercedes, like the guy who's on the TV now, like when I was a child. They haven't had a good, successful running game in quite a long time. Long story short. Maurice Jones-Drew.
Maurice Jones-Drew, yeah.
Thank you. Bowling ball. Yeah, they haven't had a really solid, successful, like particularly good run game since Maurice Jones-Drew was there.
If you're not under center in 2025, you're just doing it wrong.
Sure.
That's exactly how it is now.
Sure. Yeah, so I like ETN quite a bit in this matchup. I do have a play on Lawrence, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but we can swing and talk about the Chiefs side of things. I know, I'll let you kind of teed it up. I'll let you talk about Worthy, why you like Worthy. Chat, B and I are both on Worthy. I know Danny also kind of liked Worthy when we were talking about him a little bit earlier today as well. What do you have for old X Factor?
So our boy Xavier Worthy, fastest 40 time in NFL Combine history, a 4.21 is what he recorded last year at the Combine. This year, he's coming into his first full year as this team's wide receiver one, as Rashee Rice is on the sidelines. What happens in his first game? First snap of the game, runs into Travis Kelce and collarbone injury, bang, out for 4 weeks, bang. He's back on the field, and in his first game back against Baltimore, he had, 5 catches on 8 targets. He had 83 yards and didn't score a touchdown. This was against a Baltimore team that runs almost, the 3rd or 4th most man coverage in the league. Now he's coming in against a team in the Jaguars that runs zone at the 3rd highest rate in the NFL. And what does Xavier do against zone coverages? Oh my God, he absolutely destroys them. Boys, last year, Xavier had, he was just over 600 some yards in the NFL. 539 of those yards came against zone coverages. 6 receiving touchdowns, all 6 came against zone coverage schemes. He has a 75% catch rate this year on a small sample size, a 75% catch rate last year. He has looked fantastic, an 8.3 average depth of target against zone coverages. And the thing that stood out to me the most is the yards after the catch stat. Against zone coverages last year, 330 yards after the catch, ranked 8th among all wide receivers, despite seeing probably 1/4 or 1/5 of the targets of other top wide receivers. This is a guy who makes big plays. He ranked in the top 20 of all pass catchers last year in balls of deep 20 plus. He is going to continue to make big plays. And the reason I like this is, yes, this Jacksonville secondary has been formidable, but a lot of it is because of Jordan Lewis on the inside. It's his first year in Jacksonville. He's coming over after a career year with the Cowboys, and he has been phenomenal. He has 2 interceptions, 13 tackles, and he is that slot cornerback that nobody is going after. He is spending a lot of time on the opposing team's tight end. I think it's almost 80% of the production Jacksonville is giving up is to outside wide receivers outside the numbers. That's exactly where Worthy is taking a majority of his snaps. He has been a deep play target since he got back, and I think tonight on prime time, this is exactly when he's going to show out. So give me Xavier Worthy's receiving yards. I did take the touchdown as well, but I'm big on the boy X today.
I like this a lot. We talked about this earlier on Any Given Wager. I saw this live in person at Arrowhead. This offense completely changes when he's on the field. It's just it's almost night and day because of the things that he can do with the football that they don't have anybody else on the team that can do the same type of thing. I took his rushing and receiving. I got a really good number on this last night when I locked this in.
It was better than my line.
Yeah. I got 58.5 when they dropped this line last night. It's up to 66.5. I don't dislike it there either. I would probably just take the 59.5 receiving instead of the rushing and receiving. But I told this, if you watch Chiefs games, they're going to design at least 1 running play for him, maybe 2. They're going to get him the football behind the line of scrimmage as a runner, and he's going to possibly take it. I mean, he had two rushes technically against the Ravens for 38 yards. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I know one of them was a carry. I think the other one was like a swing pass that was basically just considered a rush, that's why taking rushing and receiving for these types of guys is always my preference. But yeah, I'm with you, dude. I think that Worthy's going to be really good tonight. I know he was on the injury report. I think it's going to be fine. I think it was just precautionary. He had a little bit of an ankle thing, but it seems like Xavier's going to be big X tonight. I love the touchdown too for the plus money. We talked about it earlier. I think there's a lot of value on that as well, especially after not getting into the end zone last week. Okay, Danny has a prop as well in the on the Chiefs side of things, and from the quarterback position, which we can talk about, and then we can kind of put together a little parlay for the to sweat out for the Monday Night Football tonight. Go ahead, DB.
Yes, sir. So I got Patrick Mahomes over 20.5 rushing yards. If you look at, let's go, B. Come on, baby. If you look what's happened in the games where they've lost, it's because Mahomes is playing catch up. He needs to improvise. He needs to create opportunities elsewhere against solid secondaries when the receivers haven't been forced. Now, The caveat there is obviously Xavier Worthy being back in the mix, and you saw what happened when he was playing against Baltimore. But that was a game where you're so comfortable if you're Patrick Mahomes, you didn't need to put yourself out on the line and move the ball down the field. I think he's going to have to in this game with the Jacksonville defense that, again, yes, very easy schedule so far. Second in EPA per play allowed, second in success rate allowed. If the secondary is as cracked up as it is to be, or what we've seen with those turnovers and what have you, then again, Mahomes' ability to run is going to be a difference maker for this offense. Pacheco and Hunt ain't doing it. That's for damn sure. We've established this. It's not that they're going to do any quarterback design runs, but Jacksonville does have a pretty high pressure rate, and I think that's where you're going to see him get it utilized. I see him around like 30 in this game, so I thought 20.5 was a really good mark here. Jacksonville's allowing about 20 rushing yards to opposing QBs per game. Bryce Young, 5 carries, 40 yards. Stroud at 4 carries, 22 yards. Purdy, 2 carries, but 13 yards. So a little bit of efficiency there with the mobility of opposing quarterbacks. And Mahomes is running about 5.5 times per game so far. He's in the upper echelon percentile here, 90th percentile, I believe, in terms of quarterbacks running and utilizing their feet. At 57 rushing yards for what it's worth against the Chargers and 66 against Philadelphia. Again, both those games were losses. I'm not saying they're necessarily going to lose, but I do think Jacksonville keeps it close and is it a really good chance to win this thing outright. So I think in a battle like tonight should be, you're going to have to get creative, and it's going to have to be Mahomes utilizing his legs in that capacity. So I like him over 20.5 rushing yards tonight. Hopefully we don't get screwed with any penalties or any stupid things at the end of the game. But yeah, I do like this with Mahomes.
I
love
this
this
a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, we talked about it earlier, and I love this quite a bit too. In big games, as long as this game stays within the number, or even the Colts or the Chiefs are losing at any particular stretch, Mahomes just does whatever is necessary. And as you mentioned, this running game is non-existent, and so he just has to go back there sometimes and scramble around. Mm-hmm. He could get this all in one play. Especially with some of the offense, some of these quarterbacks that they have faced who do run the football, and then the games that Mahomes were close, like you mentioned, soared over this line. So I like this quite a bit. What were you going to say?
Yeah, same here. I like this. Like you said, this Jacksonville not only has their pressure rate been good, but this is a secondary that has done a great job of preventing separation. They run a lot of zone schemes, and because of that, this might be a spot where Mahomes can spot some soft spots in this zone coverage and just get away. Especially on primetime, you gotta love a prop like this. You just know that these guys come in with a little bit more swagger and everything like that. The outfits change. You know what I mean? The car they bring to the game changes. And in a situation like this, he's their leading rusher this season. They have struggled to get the ball moving from both Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. So I don't see why this is a situation that he won't have to run or move the ball with his feet. And I do think that we're kind of now living through an era a little bit where QBs are just more ready to run. They're more athletic than they have been in sometimes years past. And because of that, I think teams are now kind of working into their games. You're seeing zone reads for teams that may not run it as much. Even a guy like Mahomes, you might not see him pull it every time. You might see him give it to the running back, but those things are worked into the game plan every single time. And I think that a guy like Andy Reid is definitely looking for a wrinkle here on primetime against Jacksonville.
Last point. Danny, you want to talk about your kicker prop before I kind of I found my first touchdown score that I will tell you.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'll set this up for you here. I'll go with my Cam Little prop really quick. I think I like this one more than the Mahomes rushing yards. I'm not going to lie. I took Cam Little over 1.5 field goals made at minus $1.25. It's kind of funny when you try to handicap kickers, but the way that I see this game going, again, I'm putting some decent stock into this Jacksonville offense to be able to move the ball enough against Kansas City's run defense that is rated so poorly right now to where they're going to be able to cross the 50, right? But then you look at where Kansas City does perform well defensively. They're 9th in opponent red zone success rate, 54.6% of the time. Opponents are scoring a touchdown once entering the red zone. So pretty damn good rate for Kansas City's defense. Jacksonville offensively, they are 24th in the red zone success rate, just at a 50% clip. So you're going to have to see this pride from the Chiefs step up against a Trevor Lawrence-led offense that does struggle in the passing game, and I think they can defend that territory adequately. Jags will still be able to move the ball. Cam Little's got an absolute cannon as a leg. I mean, we saw that in preseason, and we've seen him do really well so far He's averaging about 1.8 makes per game. No, that doesn't mean it's going to equate to 2 makes in this game, but I just think because of all the other circumstances kind of tied into this based on the defense and offense, now they're going to move the ball. We're going to get a couple field goal opportunities at least for Little. So I really like this prop with him to get 2+ field goals made tonight.
I think Liam Cohen's also the kind of guy that's more than willing to go for it, like a long one, like a 65-yarder here at the end of the half, just to see, hey, can we put some points up on the board,
For
right?
sure.
That's the kind of decision I think a coach like him makes, probably, especially when you have a kicker like this, who's hitting the 65, 68-yarders during practice and during warmups. I like this quite a bit, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I have a fantasy matchup that hinges on Cam Little versus Harrison Butker.
Oh, wow. These are the
Imagine
types of hey, all right now. No, it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, kicking props are fun. You can play the points as well, as Austin said in the chat. You can take the over 6 at 7.5 if you think there's going to be some touchdowns too. Obviously, throw some extra points in there as well. All right, boys, we're going to cook a little parlay. We'll have some fun. Which there went on any given wager earlier, which I'll read off, which we'll kind of try to diversify and do it a little differently, so we're not double dipping. Now, chat, it is my birthday. Don't tail this. And if you do, put a very small amount of money on it. A cup of coffee, maybe less, maybe a gumball, $1, however you want to do it.
I'm putting so much on this.
The mortgage. And now I'm doing this 2 ways. I'm splitting this. I'm doing 5 and 5. So I'm doing $5 on the first, and I'm doing $5 on the anytime. Today is October the 6th. It's somebody else's birthday today, too. His name is Trevor Lawrence. I think that T-Law gets into the end zone tonight. Plus 550 for the regular line. Plus 2,700 first, if you'd like to get frisky with me. The birthday boy is scampering into the end zone tonight with his flowing locks. I hate him so much, but he's scoring a touchdown. On prime time, baby. On prime time. Baby.
Right. That's the prime time aspect with the quarterbacks getting the touchdown is always just a bit more appealing, I feel like. So I love that pick. Come on.
Well, I mean, he's his birthday too, man. You don't think he's going to want to scamper in there and celebrate with some cake at the end of the show?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I also really like Worthy too. I do think Worthy scores if you want more of a, tempered one. That's what I'm saying. Yep. It's sealed. Yeah. It's happening. Yep. It's happening. Yep, exactly. Pays for the pizza and the beverages. All right, boys. So I'll read off the lay from earlier, and then we will cook our parlay that we will do right now so we can kind of diversify it a little bit. This is a 3-legger that we did on any given wager. If you want to tail that one and you want to tail the one we're about to give you, you can. Adam was on the Chiefs and the spread. We took the 2.5 just to cut the hook. Mahomes, 20+ rushing yards from Danny. And then I took Travis Etienne over 64.5 rushing yards. That's plus 549. So a little bit more of a, nice and normal SGP for 3 legs. I feel like we got to put Worthy in this one. We didn't put Worthy in the last one. We both like him.
Yep, I can get down with Worthy.
Should we start there? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so let's go Xavier. You want to just go receiving yards? I'm just going to take a 60-yard carry to the house.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I took both, but I'm down if we want to just take the yards.
Okay, receiving yards, 59.5. Okay.
So what about Patty Mahomes?
His rushing yards is in our other one as well.
Cam Little?
I don't know if everybody can
we're able to
parlay kicking props, unfortunately.
Damn it.
Yeah. We can. I'm not opposed to double dipping on Patty.
What do you think about Etienne? Is he in the any given wager lay as well?
Were you just not listening to me when I read it off?
Yeah.
Chat, where's Chat? Get him, Chat. He's done this to me like 3 times, Danny. It's funny at this point. I'll read it to you one more time, B. And Chat, if you missed it. Kansas City minus 2.5. Patrick Mahomes 20+ rushing yards. Travis Etienne 65+ rushing yards. There's B. Dot. There he is.
Always.
B. Dot.
I like this. I like Brenton Strange. I do because Jacksonville does. Sorry, not Jacksonville. KC does funnel a lot of receivers to the slot position there. A lot of their because they have guys. What's his name on the edge? He's really McDuffie. He's been really good this year, and they're like corners on the outside are really good. And Brenton Strange was taking a big portion of his snaps from the slot this year. I think he's only behind Travis Hunter in slot snaps.
I liked his yards quite a bit. We talked about it earlier, and I almost bet it straight, so I'm not opposed. I know this. I know that this tight ends really they don't do well against Kansas City. But I know, Danny, you were actually talking. We talked about this earlier about Strange as well. You were maybe flirting with the receptions.
Yeah,
kind of like the yards a little better. What do you think?
Yeah, I was looking at that, but you're right. Like Kansas City's been relatively solid against tight ends, but again, I think he is a necessity in their offense long term, and then especially in this game, like he's an emerging player who can be a weapon on this offense. Then you're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to get him utilized in this game. So I definitely leaned toward over 3.5, but it was like minus 150 or so. So I didn't like laying that vig to find out if it was going to come to fruition. In terms of tight ends, like we talked about Noah Gray a bit, over 1.5 receptions. Jacksonville's actually been a little lackluster defending tight ends, allowing about 5 receptions per game to the position. And yeah, I mean, I know Slav talked about Kelsey 4+. Don't hate that either. But if we're trying to get a little bit better bang for your buck, perhaps Noah Gray, certainly get a bit more risky there. But I know you said Shags kind of liked it too. And as a resident Chiefs guy, if he likes it, you know, he's watching this team more than any of us. So,
well, to be fair, he bets it like not all the time, but he bets it quite often just because he has an affinity for Noah Gray.
Yeah, he does have an affinity for Noah Gray.
He does. I think I like the yards a little better for Strange, just because the catches, he has had 6 catches in back-to-back weeks and the targets are there, but I think the yards makes just for the number.
What's it at for his yards?
33.5.
Okay.
You down with the yards, V?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to shout this out to someone in chat because we had this happen on Gridiron Gang yesterday where someone just pulled an absolute crazy touchdown score and it smacked. So Jimmy, this is your moment. Rashard Smith, it's not Smith, it's Smith. Rashard Smith, he's the backup running back for the Chiefs. Touchdown from Jimmy. Oh, man. If that smacks, here's your moment, brother. We'll clip it and we'll post it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
crazy.
plus 450. I didn't even know who this guy was. He's plus 450 to score a touchdown.
We're getting better odds on Trevor Lawrence.
Right? He's going to be in the hand the whole time. All right, one more. Let's do one more leg then. We've got Xavier Worthy, 60+ receiving yards. Strange, 34, just bumped up, 34+ receiving yards. Anything else that you guys like that you want to put in here? I'm trying to just figure out.
Did the Jags on the spread?
Oh, then we're really like hoping for 2 different situations. I mean, if we take the plus 3.5 for Jacksonville, and then the game ends on a 3, and then both parlays hit. Is that how that happens?
That's true.
Sheesh. Yeah, you know who? Go watch the replay. We talked about this at the beginning.
You know, V, I'm curious your thoughts on this one. Yeah, we don't have to add it, but just to throw one out there. I was talking about when we were looking at the quarterbacks, Mahomes' pass attempts were at like 36.5, and he's gone over that in 3 out of 4 games. But if this goes with the way I perceive, and it sounds like you too a little bit, like Jacksonville wanting to control the time of possession, right? Utilize the ground attack, wind down that clock. And if their defense is going to be fairly sturdy, then that's going to limit potentially the possession for Kansas City as well. I just think this number is really, really ticked up because of the fact that he's gone over it in 3 out of 4 games. But I don't know. It just seems like a lot to ask him to pass that much. Yes, Worthy's back in the mix. But then the other side of that coin, too, is that, well, if Worthy's back in, a lot of times with his completions goes for longer yardage. So it's not like pass, short completions, a lot of attempts and all of that. Just throwing that out there. Again, we don't have to add it, but kind of want to pick your brain on that, too, what you think from Mahomes' pass attempts tonight.
I kind of like that. I see the logic there. I think his pass attempts have been that high too because the run game has been kind of non-existent. But like you said, there's some big playability here. And Jacksonville has let up some big plays over the last few weeks. I think they've let up a play of 20+ yards every single week. And this is Patrick Mahomes, who this year, I don't know if you go back to it, but has been completing way more passes of 20+ yards, has been way more open to throwing the ball of 20+ yards. Wow. And the offense is really kind of opening up again. Last year, we saw a lot of dump offs, a lot of offensive line issues, but the KC offensive line has looked better. And I think the point you bring up about the longer completions leading to like less attempts and shorter drives could really help a Kansas City team. Plus, you don't want him on the field. If you have the run game to keep him off of there, I kind of like that under. Yeah.
I like that too. But just in case this game does turn into a shootout, like that would just be agony. I have a couple angles though that we could take with kind of tying into things we've discussed and have bets on, but taking it a little bit differently. What if we looked at taking rushing attempts for ETN or Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes' rushing attempts line is 4.5. ETN's is 14.5. ETN had 19 and 16 carries back-to-back weeks. Mahomes had 4 last week in that dog walking. And if it comes to kneel downs, those counts as carries too, by the way.
I think I feel more comfortable with Mahomes. And again, I like the ETN over his rushing yards a lot. Don't get me wrong. But the other side is if it does get into a situation, obviously, where the Jags are trailing early. Yeah, that's where he kind of gets just obliterated on that way. And you make a good point, tallying up those with Kansas City and the kneel downs. Yeah, it just feels a bit better with Mahomes. I don't know, slightly.
Yeah, I'm in on Mahomes rushing attempts.
Because then we don't have to double dip on the 20 yards. The other way we could do it is Kareem Hunt's at 8.5, and he's had 13 and 10 carries and back.
Trusting a Kansas City Chiefs running back is like trusting a New England Patriots running back. You just shouldn't do it. And if Trizzy was here, he would call Andy Reid a terrorist and tell us all absolutely not.
Fair enough. Shout out Triz. All right, so 3 legs plus 550.
It's not bad. Do we want to throw a touchdown in here? 1 touchdown scorer?
Just who though? That would be my question. Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, yeah, we were all thinking it. We might have.
Travis Kelce. I mean, that song just came out about his penis.
About his redwood? No, I can't. We can't put Travis Kelce in here, man. I'll be so sad if he just doesn't do anything.
I will be too.
Let's just
touchdown. The 18 touchdown. We don't have any of his props in here. What if we just take the TD in here? It's probably juiced, but
it's plus money still.
I mean,
let me look at the line. Plus 110. Scored a touchdown in 3 straight games. That's always scary too.
It is definitely scary. The line also kind of scary. But I mean, hey, if this defense is bad, if he's going to be running all over them like we think he is, getting in the end zone? What's it bring it to? What are the odds with it?
I'm trying to add it. My book doesn't offer it. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke, Danny. You'll learn when we get to NBA season. There will be times where I'll my book doesn't offer it / I don't like the play.
That's a nice way of saying it's a ship bet.
You know who? I'm all over it, brothers. Birthday bros. Everyone rides Trevor Lawrence anytime touchdown from the show. If you ride nothing else from the entire analysis in depth we've given you all show, just take Trevor Lawrence to score touchdown. Plus 1150 with ETN touchdown. So if ETN doesn't score, T-Law's probably scoring. So
4 legs, 4 job doers. Do your jobs.
Feels good. I can get down with it. All right, so plus 1100. That is the BETSPRESSO 4 for the SGP. No baseball included in this. Although I was thinking maybe throwing the Brewers in, but I don't want the Cubs to doubly screw you, Danny.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be brutal.
Could you imagine being unhappy they won? Like that would suck.
Yeah, that's why I almost. Never mind. Okay, looking at Xavier Worthy, 60 receiving yards. Brenton Strange, 34.5 receiving yards. Patrick Mahomes, 5 carries, and then ETN to rumble into the end zone, plus 1150. Good stuff, boys. Good stuff. It's going to be a fun game tonight. I'm excited to watch it. I think it's going to be a good one between 2 teams. Yeah, let's go, man. Let's go. You know who. You know the vibes. We appreciate you. Great show, boys. Thanks for tuning in, guys, for your afternoon BETSPRESSO. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Thanks for stopping by and kicking it. We will be live again tomorrow. A little bit different timings tomorrow. Mr. Danny Burke right here will be with Mr. Marcio at 3 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central. Wait, no, that's wrong. 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central.
There you go.
I don't know. Is that right? There, that's right. 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. I can't remember. There's times tomorrow. I will tell you what they are on the social media machine. But these guys are going live talking baseball for 30 minutes, talking about the pickoff. Then the old college try will be live directly after that, talking college football. Then tomorrow, chat. Puckett is back. We have Puckett. We have hockey returning tomorrow. The NHL season is back. Gretzky, Beskies, and myself will be jumping into the Frozen Pond Lab and giving you guys the moves on the ice. 5:30 Eastern. We'll be live with you guys tomorrow talking hockey. So big Tuesday awaits. It's going to be fun. Boys, it's been a pleasure. You guys got anything else before we hop up on out of here?
Just excited to be together this weekend, boys. We're going to have hockey. You're going to have football, college football, Sunday. It's going to be fantastic. And I can't wait to see everybody that makes it out there on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game tonight. Excited for that. And more importantly, I'm excited for Trevor Lawrence to get the first touchdown of the game. And if not, just any other time. I mean, I feel great about that the more we're talking about it, SPJ. So let's go. Let's get that birthday bet in, baby.
I feel so good about sweating that out too. It's going to be incredibly awesome watching that possibly smack. So
If they
yeah,
get
come on,
close to the
T-Love.
red zone, just throw the camera on. You know what I mean? Let's just
Gots to.
just got to. Right? Wishful, hopeful thinking.
I'll get my wife to film me if that happens. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We will have Puckett tomorrow. It will be at 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central. So there will be a Puckett 4 tomorrow. So look out for the timeline. And we're so back, baby.
First Puckett 4 of the year.
Bing bong. Love to see it. You guys came to the winners and you stayed for the vibes. Thanks for stopping by and kicking in with us today. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic Monday and enjoy the game tonight. Take it easy, chat. Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Down in the deep. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. Rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about?